Hi guys, Happy New Year and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about three different things. First, the December 2022 market stats, followed by a look at all of 2022, and then we'll finish off by looking to the future and seeing what the rest of 2023 may look like. At the end of this video, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me directly, and you can find my contact information in the comment section below. And lastly, if you find any value in this video at all, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. So as for December, it just continues to feel a bit more like a Groundhog Day each month. Average price has basically remained flat going all the way back to July. In fact, the average price in December 2022 versus July 2022 was only a difference of $499, illustrating once again that the market has found some sort of plateau. And during that same 6-month period, sales volume has always been about 40 to 50% down below last year, or 2021 for that matter. And new listings have always been down about 20 or 25%, depending on the asset class and location that you're in. In terms of sales volume, December is always quite slow, but this December was an anomaly. This December had the lowest amount of sales for any month going back at least 10 years, except for April 2020. And if you remember April 2020, that was the start of the pandemic when the government basically told us we could not leave our homes. Now, when we zoom out and look at all of 2022, it was a wild ride. The first half of the year was insane. Houses were almost always selling within a week and they were always going well over asking. However, that changed quickly. Throughout 2022, the Bank of Canada made 7 interest rate hikes, and that was unprecedented. Almost immediately, the market shifted. By the end of the year, sales were down about 36% and new listings were down about 12%. And if you take the average for sales prices for all of 2022 and compare it to all of 2021, the average sale price was actually up 8% in 2022. However, I find that stat quite misleading, as all of the gains of 2022 happened in the first 4 months. And as we know, since that peak in April, prices have slipped off about 18% across the board. Now, looking ahead at the rest of 2023, we're in very uncharted territory. In my opinion, there are 3 factors that are going to affect how the real estate market plays out. First is interest rates. The Bank of Canada has indicated that we are near the end of the rate hike cycle. However, the spread between the US prime rate and the Canada prime rate is 1.05% still today. Generally, these 2 rates are quite on par with one another. So it would seem, quite intuitive that at the next Bank of Canada meeting towards the end of January, we will see another rate hike and likely, potentially, one more in March. However, at that point, most economists believe that interest rates will then level off, and maybe by the end of 2023 or into 2024, we'll start seeing rates come back down again. Second is immigration. Canada is on target to set a record level of immigration for this year, and most of those immigrants will land up in major cities across the GTA and across the Greater Vancouver area. And third is the job market. The job market in Canada at this moment is still quite strong, but we're starting to see mass layoffs across all of North America, particularly in the tech sector. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out specifically in the Toronto market. So then it just comes down to supply and demand. And clearly, demand has waned off in Toronto over the last 7 or 8 month period. That's largely caused by those rate hike increases as well as just general economic uncertainty. But if interest rates do level off or even start coming down toward the later half of this year, I think that buyer confidence will continue to resume and continue to pick back up. And if immigration levels do reach those targets, and if the job market stays relatively strong, I think we're in a pretty good spot for the demand. So that leaves us with supply. And supply still is a major issue. Even when sales volumes were way down throughout all of 2022, there was still a supply issue. And that's largely because a lot of people who want to sell their homes, people that might want to downsize or upsize or leave the country or move out to the suburbs, things like that. There's still people who want to sell, but they just weren't selling their homes because they wanted those January, February, March prices, and they just couldn't get those prices. Now, I think sellers are starting to realize that the market has come down and it's not going back up anytime soon. Most houses are down between 15 and 20%. So as sellers come to terms with that, I believe we'll start seeing a pickup on listings, come in March, April as the weather starts getting a bit nicer, and that should help with the supply issue. However, fundamentally, there still is a big problem here. We're not building enough homes and there's not enough policies in place to help developers build homes fast enough. So I realize there's a lot of ifs here, but fundamentally, people still want to own and live in Toronto. And I believe that the first 2 quarters of 2023 will basically mirror the second 2 quarters of 2022. Things will be quite slow, but As the buyer comment starts to resume and as sellers begin to sell their homes again, I believe the market will find some sort of stable ground towards the end of 2023, and the market will return to some sort of normal levels. And there most definitely could be some more downside to the market. However, as you know, real estate should be treated as a long-term investment, and it's impossible to time the bottom of the market. So if you're thinking of buying, now would be the time to start getting out there and looking. And if you're thinking of selling, there's buyers out there who want to buy your home. But I'll keep my eye on things and I'll report back to you as soon as possible. Until then, I thank you again for watching this video. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me. And cheers to a happy and healthy 2023.